drag racing fan. Monday Morning Racer here, live right now between the slicks, or with one of our guests tonight on or over the slick. So, folks, let's give you a little bit of drag racing news before we introduce our guests tonight. So, happening right now, well, not today in the monsoon that's happening over Virginia and also here at the headquarters of strutmasters.com in Roxborough, North Carolina, the Shakedown Nationals at Virginia Motorsports Park. That is underway, best they could for today. Testing happening yesterday, so they're looking for a great weekend of drag racing of door cars there in Virginia. Pro versus radio versus the world. So looking forward to chatting with one of our guests who is up there and is competing. Folks, also, I plan on being at Push Rod's Rumble 2. If you're in North Carolina, Wilkesboro Dragway, that's where I plan on being this weekend to catch some nostalgia drag racing action. Come check out Push Rod Rumbles 2. Car show, gassers, a lot of good nostalgia stuff to see at Wilkesboro Dragway. Some mainstream drag racing news. The NHRA, today it was announced that they have inked a deal with Fox to continue coverage even to 2025. I think that's exciting news for the NHRA. I know many people aren't always pleased with the Fox coverage, but nonetheless, I do think it is better than what ESPN was offering, and having TV is extremely important for the sport going mainstream and staying mainstream. In fact, last event, the U.S. Nationals, roughly, if I remember the numbers correctly, 1.5 million people watched the U.S. Nationals, and that's not even including what will be in time re-aired. That's good news for drag racing in a time and in a year where we definitely need some good news. Also, though, not great news, the PRI show was announced that they are not going to hold it. It's been canceled. I was definitely looking forward to PRI, rubbing shoulders with folks, possibly taking Lou Santiago with me and crashing the party, but that's not going to happen this year. David, good evening to you, sir. Thank you, man, for watching. Sam, hope you're doing well. Thank you for watching. Scott, thank you for watching. Look, guys, hit that like button. Hit that share button. Invite someone to watch right now between the slicks. Let me introduce our first guest right now. From Star Cycles to the Killa Cycle, and now an NHRA U.S. Nationals winning cycle with Matt Smith Racing, Scotty Pollacheck has rode his way onto Between the Slicks live. Scotty, man, how's it going tonight? Uh-oh, I've lost you, Scotty. Scotty, work out that audio. We've lost you again. I'm going to drop you back out real quick. You work on that for me. All right, we'll go to our next guest. We'll go ahead and bring up this man. He's driving this car right now, though it's got a few extra badges on it. Take a look at this footage from the Midsummer Shootout PDRA. Tommy DeApril, man, how's it going tonight?
It's going great. How are you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing well. You and me are in similar situations. We're out of the rain. Definitely got a downpour there in Virginia. Everything got washed out today. Where are you coming from tonight?
Well, I'm broadcasting from Giuseppe's Italian Restaurant right down the road from Virginia Motorsports Park. What a great restaurant, great Italian food, and that's my heritage. So here with our family and our friends, and just a great outing. We've been stuck cooped up all day today, kind of like a kid, want to go out and play with their toys and you can't.
Right, definitely. Yeah, drag racing and rain doesn't mix at all, especially with door cars. I couldn't imagine that at all. So, yeah, out there at the Italian restaurant. I've got to get me something to eat after the show. Definitely looking forward to that. So, hope you've enjoyed the meal, or you will enjoy the meal. Thank you for being on the show tonight. Let me try to bring Scotty back in and see where we're at with him. We'll be back to you in just a few moments. Scotty, can you hear me?
Hey, buddy, I can hear you.
Oh, there we go. We got you now. Man. All right. Well, look, we gave you the intro, had the little audio issues there. You had to come back in. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being on the show tonight. Look, man, I know you've kind of done the media tour, and you've been on Joe Costella's. You've talked to Competition Plus, and all the folks, and you finally on with myself, the straggler Monday morning racer on Between the Slicks. And congratulations on the win. And I was excited for you. It was good to see. Congratulations. But I don't want to ask you about the win. I want to ask you this, Scotty. After finally getting that NHRA national event and it being a U.S. national win, are you just as hungry or hungrier for win number 2?
It's a pretty amazing thing coming off the end of that track after seeing the win light and the guys handing you, that Wally that you've been looking for so long. But yeah, we're definitely wanting to go to Gainesville and get another one. We're going to be down there next weekend. Hopefully we'll keep up what we've been doing, leaving right after where we left off and turn on some more win lights.
Definitely turn on some more win lights. I know you're hungry for it. Also, though, you kind of get home, and I imagine you don't have really much time for celebration. You are in the midst of the wildfires that are impacting Oregon right now. What's been going on in your state and your neck of the woods concerning all that, man?
It's been devastating right here in our own town. 2,357 houses, I think at last count, burnt, completely to the ground. And there's just so many people that are in a really, really bad situation. We got really lucky. We didn't get affected too much. We actually got evacuated from the shop one day last week. A couple of our kids had to get evacuated, but, we didn't lose anything, nothing burned down, but we've got so many people that we know, lost businesses, homes, everything they had. It's a really sad situation.
Definitely sad situation, and I know it's got to be hard to go through. I'm glad to hear that y'all are faring well through it. Again, Scotty, thank you for being on the show. Hang on for me for a few moments. I got to thank a sponsor, and we're going to be right back with you and Tommy together. All right, folks, none of this would be possible without strutmasters.com, which is offering air suspension for trucks right now. Hey, let's take a look at Lou Santiago and clue us in about, Strutmasters, air, and trucks.
Looking for the perfect do-it-yourself air suspension kit for your truck? Strutmasters has got it. Our complete heavy-duty air suspension kit comes with everything you need. It bolts right in with no modifications. You can have it all. Heavy-duty hauling and towing performance, and the smooth ride you crave. Get a complete air suspension kit for your pickup at strutmasters.com or call us at 866-597-2397.
Oh, I love Lou Santiago. He's great. And it's good to have a strutmasters.com writer on. Tommy, Scotty, guys, look. The PRI show has been canceled. Finally, they announced it. I haven't been to it. I'm sure both of you have, or at least you've been near to people who have. So the PRI show being canceled, what do you think, and how do you think that's going to affect drag racing in particular?
I know that's a big loss for, the sport, kind of like SEMA being canceled. It's just a sign of the times right now with what's going on, but it's definitely not good for business, not good for racing, that's for sure.
Yes, sir. It's definitely not good for business, not good for racing. Tommy, your thoughts on PRI being canceled?
Yeah, well, that is the premier time where we go out and we talk to people, and we really put our best foot forward to get to actually just meet. We have meetings, we go to dinner. You don't get to do this at the racetrack too much, so it's really an important area, not only for the people in the industry, our partners and companies who are selling and trying to promote new products. It's hard for the sponsorship aspect, where you get to meet with your guys, your sponsors, gain new sponsors maybe. Again, it's a loss for our industry. I agree completely, and hoping this year coming we can regain and make that PRI bigger and better than it's ever been.
I was definitely hoping 2020 we would have it. They were trying to hold out. It's not going to happen. So 2021 it will have to be, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see going into 2021 with not having that meeting place, how it's going to affect racing and all racing, period, especially drag racing. It's definitely a loss. Now, a gain would have to definitely be the NHRA inking this deal with Fox. And Tommy, you were at the NHRA US Nationals on some TV, and I got to experience that. How good do you think it is that there is some solidarity for the future in NHRA having a TV deal?
Well, it's really huge, because when you think about it, um, it's the only gig in town that offers that kind of exposure. So, we have a lot of good organizations we can race with, outlaw organizations and what have you. But the exposure that you get from Fox Sports is unlike any other. And if you are fortunate enough to win a race and do well, your sponsors are visited by, I think, what you say, 1.5 million people
Right.
who viewed the U.S. Nationals. That's pretty huge. So, again, that is a fantastic thing, just to see something in motion for the coming year that we can look forward to. And as we are in process of having 3 new sponsors come on board, it would be fantastic to be able to offer them that option. So again, very important, and really look forward to it.
So, Scotty, look, you've been there the ESPN days. You've been there for a while with the Fox days, and now we're going to be continuing in NHRA drag racing with Fox. Also, you've got a lot of TV time lately, man. Over 200 miles per hour U.S. Nationals winner. So how important is TV to drag racing, and what is it like from the Fox perspective, you as a rider?
It's great having that TV sponsor. Everybody needs help. Everybody needs, sponsorship, and TV is the way, to get out in front of everybody. So, they can see, the races, they can see the product. It's nice with Fox, because they cover it a lot and they air it a lot. ESPN didn't replay it as much, as Fox does. So you're really getting a lot of, TV time, whether it's original or whether it's re-airs, but it's on TV and everybody can see it. So it's nice to have that locked in for a long time. And, they're just going to add to it and build to it and make the show better. So no, we're definitely happy about that program.
Yes, sir. Definitely happy. I'm curious, do you think that Fox happens to do a better job for Pro Stock Motorcycle in general than the other broadcasts have done in the past?
I think they both have their good points. But, we're just happy to get that coverage, and to be on TV. We get to be on, the pro show with, the nitro cars and the pro stock cars. And, it's great for Pro Stock Motorcycle to be included in that. So no, we're definitely happy with what's going on.
Happy with what's going on. Me too. I definitely think the sport needs to stay in the limelight. And even though the NHRA might have some issues, it is the premier level of the sport, and it needs to be out there out front. Well, guys, look, Scott, regular viewer of Between the Slicks, he asked this. Please ask them how they feel about electronic time slips. So, Tommy, start with you. Electronic time slips. I mean, do you like them? Are you in favor? Is it just like, as if we got to do it, we do it? I mean, what's your thoughts, man?
I don't like it. I'll be very honest with you. That was one of the most exciting. I've got to look it up, or it was. So I guess we'll get used to it. I'm just not a fan of it. Ever since I was a kid racing, we got a little time slip, and now we don't get it, and I'm pouting about it.
Yeah, I mean, just my junior dragster days, you wanted to see that time slip. You wanted to hold it. You wanted to be able to take it around and present it to somebody. I know, the guys I raced with, take our time slips and compare them, nag each other on who was late and sleeping, things of that nature. But yeah, I want to hold something. Scotty, are you the same way, or are you trying to go ahead and adjust to the new status of, well, no paper involved with times?
No, I'm definitely on the same page with Dave. I like having the time slip. That's the first thing you want to see when you get down to the end of the track there. You want to see your reaction time. You want to see what you ran, all the incrementals. It's something that you can tangibly have, and you can take that time slip home. I mean, I keep all of mine, take them home. Sometimes you'll sign them, give them to a fan. Depending on what it is, you might frame one, and you can't really do that with the electronic stuff. So no, I'm definitely in favor of going back to the regular time slips. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. What drag racer that hasn't accomplished a great run that doesn't have that time slip frame somewhere? I mean, you can definitely do that with a time slip. And a screenshot and then printing it out is just not the same thing. I mean, you got that thing out of the ticker, out of the booth, some lady that's been there for 50 years and been handing them out, and you got this personal connection,
Exactly.
And it's like, here's your time slip. That was a good run. So I mean, yeah, you want that. You definitely want that. So hopefully time slips are back. But guys, I hope in your future there's a lot of white time slips instead of those old yellow ones. I don't want you having those. Well, guys, look, I'm going to plug one more sponsor, and then we're going to come back to you, Scotty, up first after saying thanks to Hero Soap Company. Hero Soap Company is a veteran-owned establishment that produces all-natural, essential oils infused soap that is sold with a portion of the proceeds supporting other veteran groups. Hero Soap Company. Heroes supporting heroes. Be a hero yourself and buy a bar and let freedom clean. All right, folks, look, the U.S. Nationals winner in Pro Stock Motorcycle. You got any questions for him? Definitely put them in the comments. Hit the like button. Share the broadcast wherever you are watching from. Let me very quickly mention Beer Hound's beer reviews. Well, we know what kind of channel they've got. He says, cheers, lifting one up here to the Between the Slicks broadcast from OC, California. Good to have you on, man. Scotty, look, you're the points leader. The bike is running exceptionally well. Even your final round at the U.S. Nationals was a 200-mile-an-hour blast. 2020 has a limited schedule remaining. Do you think you can snag a championship as well as your first win already in the year?
Hey, that never gets old hearing that U.S. Nationals winner. But no, I think we definitely have a good shot at it. The way the bike's running, you can't complain with anything that's going on with the motorcycle. I mean, it's making good, consistent runs. It's good in the front half. It's good in the back half. The bike's just been awesome. So as long as I keep doing what I'm supposed to do, I think we'll be right there with them at the end.
And you've definitely been doing that. You've been riding well. Now, I have noticed there have been some red lights already this season, and that's a challenge for you Pro Stock motorcycle riders. Talk to me about the ever-looming gremlin of the red light in the Pro Stock motorcycle ranks, and what do y'all do with the tree and yourself, and you personally being prepared or trying to be prepared to go out there and get the lowest light possible, because it's so important in Pro Stock motorcycle?
It's funny. It's really such a double-edged sword, because you have to have a good light in this class because it's so competitive and everybody's so good. You're not going to win many races if you're not good on the tree. And, a lot of times you just got to push it a little bit. The bad thing is I've lost 2 races this year by a combined 0.02 of a second. Both times I was red by 1,000th of a second. That gets a little tough to live with, but, at the same time, you got to try, you got to be sharp on the tree. You're not going to get there if you, aren't good on the tree, because there's so many people out there, guys, girls, both, that they can just chop the tree down at any given moment. So you got to be ready to go, and sometimes you just miss it by that much. So it's a tough deal with the motorcycles because they move so fast.
Yes, they do. Y'all accelerate so quickly, and that bike, your bike, that Matt Smith racing bike, is definitely doing just that. Man, talk to me a little bit about Matt as that owner and tuner and crew chief in essence. I mean, he's got all those bikes running exceptionally well. And, I mean, 2 of the 4 spots with 200 Mile an Hour Club, Matt Smith Racing owns 2 of them. So, what's it like riding for Matt Smith Racing?
That's just a testament to how good he is. MSR, Matt and Angie, they got Michael Ray, who works on my bike. They've got Rick Manny, who's a new addition to the team. Nate Kendrick, just all great people. And, they do such a fine job. The bikes, are in tip top shape all the time. And Matt makes huge power, obvious, by our mile an hour. He's got plenty of parts, and he's got so many things going on, but he can, juggle all those things. He's tuning all the bikes and just keeps everything rolling. And, it's a great place to be. You've got, everything you need for sure, whether it's parts, tuning, everything. I mean, just like Michael, Michael works on the bike and the bike is always flawless. I never have to worry about anything that, he's doing on there, which makes it easier for me. But no, it's a great place. I love being there. And, we've definitely been running this good this year and having success. So yeah, no complaints.
Definitely. I'm glad that there's no complaints. And how could you? Yes, you've been running exceptionally well, and got that first win finally. And also, I mean, you've got a legitimate shot to win in 2020 the championship in what is, I think, at this point, probably the most competitive class in NHRA drag racing. So it's definitely cool to see. Well, Scotty, look, hang on. We're going to pick up Tommy in just a few moments. So, Scotty, hang on. We'll be right back with you. Folks, you out there watching, I do have some giveaways tonight. So this Drag Racing Edge magazine, I've got a ton of them. Great story on Antron Brown on the front cover here and inside. Also, Johnny Placino's mentioned from the PDRA and Extreme Pro Stock. Look, this is how we're going to hand these out. I'm going to ask a question. That question pertains to last week's show, and I'm going to ask them periodically through the show, and the first person that I see answer them correctly, I'm going to get a magazine out to you. So question number one is this. On last week's show, we had Dustin Davis on, the owner of Davis Motorsports for Justin Ashley. But he's not just the owner of a motorsports racing team. He also owns what type of company in California? Again, that's for a Drag Racing Edge magazine. Free to you, shipped out from Monday Morning Racer. Tommy, man, all right. You get the phone call to step into someone's pro mod. In this case, the Caruso Family Racing Pro Mod. How does that feel, man, to get that phone call and to know you're the guy that someone wants to wheel their ride?
Well, I can tell you, it's an overwhelming feeling, and it never gets old to be surrounded by such good people that trust you and want you to be there. And, many people, I don't know if they know, but Al Billis, Caruso family, we've all been together through the championship season a couple years ago. And Al being stuck in Canada was not allowing us to get his car out and race it. So Mark and his dad, Joe, called me and, asked if I would do it. And I was just very thrilled to do it. And the team is the same. So we're racing with the same group of people, besides Al, because he's still in Canada, that we had before. So the comfort level is there. But again, anytime you can get a call to do this, is I think anybody would agree that does drive. It's an honor, it's a privilege, it's a blessing, and it's few and far between. I remember being that little kid looking at these cars and saying, man, one day if I could just do that. And I have really been blessed with some amazing teams, amazing team owners. And I always, give all praise, honor, and glory to God for that, because anything that we're in right now, I could never do by myself. Financially, no way. And the people that were around, just amazing. And again, it is truly a blessing. The feeling's overwhelming. You know, like that kid on Christmas morning, it's times 10. It really is.
Man, I'm sure it is times 10. I mean, if I got a phone call, which I'm not anytime soon, to step in a pro mod, I mean, I would be thrilled. One, currently right now, I'd be like, well, you're crazy, and this is a PR stunt, and it's going to be on YouTube, watched several times as I crash and burn and trying to get out of the thing. But you're obviously a talented and skilled driver. You had a win earlier this year in that very not necessarily that car, because there was the wreck in between. But you did have a win earlier this year. Where was that? And, what event, what style of event was it?
You know, I can't remember exactly what it was now. I do remember we came out earlier this year in Mark Caruso's car in Bradenton, Florida, which is my home track, and they were running for 25 grand. And we went out there, and Lee White, who tunes this race car, said, hey, let's go out and have some fun. And Joe and Mark said, hey, let's see what we can do. And we actually went to the finals. We lost to Lizzie Musey in the finals. We had a tire shake, had to pedal it. And I think the difference was a couple hundred at the finish line. But we knew we had a pretty good combination and a good car right there. And again, to be in any vehicle is one thing, but to be in a car that is capable of winning at any race, and that's how I truly feel, it really puts me at ease when I'm in the driver's seat. And again, without all these people, I'm not here. I think anybody can attest to that. We don't do this alone. You know, we are really fortunate to have people around us, and good people around us. I heard it said, you want good things to happen, surround yourself with good people, and good things will happen. But persistence, especially in drag racing, is key. You've got to keep at it. You've got to keep going. Scotty, congratulations on your win. I am just so pleased for you and the team and Matt Smith. And it takes so much work to get there, and when you do, it's emotionally exhausting and draining. But you can't wait to go out and do it again, and that's what keeps us back here doing this. Really competitive program too.
Well, I stand corrected. Final round appearance is not bad, though. Losing to Lizzie, we don't want to lose, but they've got a great program. And so that people know, Tommy, bring us up to speed on what is your drag racing journey. You know, I read a little bit about it, but where does it begin? You've had some hardships and lost rides. There's been, I read one article that mentioned there was a fiery accident. So, give us a clue in onto where it started and being at Virginia right now at an Italian restaurant and enjoying whatever good food you're enjoying.
Well, I'll tell you, this is, for me, it's a story of no one in my family raced. We had a gentleman that worked for my dad who had an auto shop that would borrow his truck. And he had a 13-second Buick Skylark. He had a trailer, and he would go to the racetrack. Well, I went with him. And I was probably 12, maybe 13. And I just fell in love with the sport of drag racing. I said, wow, this is cool. And he took me for a ride one time in this Buick Skylark, and I sat in the passenger seat in the right lane of Bradenton Motorsports Park. And when he hit the throttle and the car came up, a 13-second car back then was really fast, and it was loud, and I was hooked. I would actually go around the pit area and clean people's cars just to get a chance to sit in the car as they warmed it up and drove around the pits. So this is a story of, from just cleaning whatever I could do to get a ride. So at the age of 14, we actually, with the help of great parents, we bought a car from a junkyard, and it was a 66 Chevy 2. We put it together, and it ran 13s, I think. And at the age of 15 or 14, they didn't have junior dragsters then. That's where I started, in a door car. So they wouldn't let me race because you weren't old enough. So I decided to color a mustache in and make it look like I was older. And all it did was, make people laugh. But the track owner got such a kick out of it. He said, go ahead, kid, and race. And that was the start of it all. We went door car to another door car, I think a 9-second Monza, then to a dragster, and more dragsters, top dragster. I won my first national event in Virginia Motorsports Park here. Can't remember when it was, IHRA days. And one guy that raced in Naples, Florida, said to me one day, he had the most stupid idea ever. He said, why don't you buy a pro mod? They're the coolest thing ever. And I said, okay. So I of course, I'd have to sell anything just to to buy something else. So I sold everything I had. I found a 63 split window, which was a very ill handling car, and put my blown 509 cubic inch big block Chevy headed engine in it. And the first pass down the racetrack, the first burnout, I about took out the Christmas tree. I said, these cars are ridiculous. I just didn't want to drive them. Well, next pass, I said, well, let me see. And that's where it kind of led to learning these cars. I with the help of friends, I tuned my own car, and we were doing pretty well. Not at the national event level, and of course couldn't compete nationally, but I ran into a gentleman many people will know. His name is Quayne Stott, and I say the rest is history. He had we had met. His dad had an accident. Many people would remember, fell off the back of a golf cart and had a head injury and wound up dying from that injury. And I called Quayne just to see how he was doing one day, and we struck a friendship. And I leased a car from him for a little bit so I could see what it was like in the pro ranks. And he taught me a lot. And it was that relationship that propelled me. He's a very well-known name. And I basically did a couple races with him that year. He said, hey, Tommy, he says, if I can get a sponsor, I'll put you in a car. And true to his word, at that time, he got an old gas sponsorship, which was by Evan Knoll. He put me in his car for the full season. That was 2006. I was fortunate enough to win a Pro Rookie of the Year that year, finished number 3 or 4 in Pro Modified in 06, which is when we had 40 and 50 cars showing up per race trying to qualify. I was just with really good people. After that sponsorship ended, Mel Bush and Joanne Bush were gracious enough to pick me up. I was with them for 8 years through Pro Extreme, through everything you can think of. In the middle of that, Mel Eves asked me to drive for him in Georgia Motorsport Park, South Georgia, where an oil line came off a car, was head on into the wall with a nitro car. It had nitro, so the pictures are phenomenal. Don't know how anybody could survive, but I was good. And, and the ups and downs of this sport, I don't want to keep going here, but I just stayed persistent. When one door closed, I had faith enough to go, you know what, that wasn't supposed to be open. And I just kept out there, kept serving people, loving people. If I were there helping somebody, I'd help somebody. And, we just kept rolling. And, Al Billis had a car and said, hey, let's go racing. We did this previous years again with another car, won a couple of races, and now with the Carusos and Al. And I could never imagine being here right now in this at the top end of this sport. But again, none of my doing. And these are all the people that are around me, all the people that God's put in my life, and I really love them, and I'm so appreciative of being able to do what we do. Now I have 3 kids who are racing, and just purchased a top dragster not too long ago to have fun with that again, and I'm just really enjoying it. And win or lose, we have a really good time. But if we make a mistake or somebody makes a mistake, we cover it, we go back out there. They trust me as a driver. I trust my crew chief. I trust the guys that we have. It's a really comfortable place to be. And again, the people that we're around, we truly enjoy. And, being that Al's in Canada, it stinks because, that's part of your family that can't get down and can't get through the border. But we have a phenomenal group of people, and I'm really excited. Every time I go down that racetrack, I am super excited to see what this car does. And I'm also, as we sat in the staging lanes of the U.S. Nationals, I sat in the car and I looked around, and one of my crew members said, just smell the roses, buddy. He says, you're doing stuff that people would love to do. And I never take that for granted. I am always appreciative, always very, very grateful for opportunities. And it means a lot just to be here. So, in a nutshell, that's kind of my story. And I just keep on plugging away, staying persistent, working for sponsorships, and enjoying this and keeping it balanced.
It's a small world after all. I know Quayne's been on the show, and definitely Quayne's doing some great things and has had a great career. And you never know, maybe he'll be back out there in a pro mod one day. It'd be pretty cool to see. And Tommy, man, what a story. The persistence. I mean, the lengths of drawing on a mustache, man. My goodness. Man. You wanted to do some racing. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So I'm glad.
I wanted it bad.
Yes, you wanted it bad. That is awesome, man. That is awesome. Well, look, hang tight for me. Enjoy some more Italian food there. We're going to bring Scotty back here in just a few moments. Folks, look, magazine, free ones going out. Let me bring Death Trap Hot Rods up. He answers construction. That's close. That is close. The winner though, of the first magazine tonight is Scott. Scott, we'll get Drag Racing Edge out to you. It's demolition. It is actually demolition, but no explosions. You're right, man. I asked that. No explosions, sadly. Like seeing things go kapow. It's very cool, but, you know, he don't do that. Maybe he will one day. Maybe he will one day. But, Scott, we'll get that magazine out to you. Scotty, after this video clip, you're live.
Opening gets Scotty his first ever win. And all the Vance and Hines guys are over here on Drew's side of the racetrack, hoping he can get class leading 57. Andrew's ready. Scotty Pollacheck is a national event winner. Not only that, he's an Indy winner. The Denso U.S. Nationals trophy will go back to Oregon, and Scotty Pollacheck will take it there.
Well, there it is, man, from the Monday Morning Racer camera, your win, your win. Now, again, I know you've had to answer this a lot. You've been asked about winning it. I want to take from a perspective of you knowing what is at stake, the U.S. Nationals, that first win, and did it feel different? You know, were you struggling to compose yourself, or did you go up there and bust it out just like if it was first round, willy-nilly, even on a test session? What was it like under that skull bucket, man?
You know, it actually was stressful. You know, there's a lot of nerves going on. And I could actually hear Alan Reinhart when we're sitting there getting ready to go before we'd fired the bikes up. And he's talking about how Andrew's trying to win his 57th national event, and I'm still trying to win my first. And I'm like, thanks, Alan. I didn't really need to hear that. But now the big thing is, you know, for me, you know, you just got to stick to the routine. You got to try and stay calm, and you just got to concentrate and do your job. And, you know, I just wanted to go up there and I wanted to cut a good light, and I wanted to shift on time and make a nice, you know, straight, clean pass. And, you know, hopefully, you know, get to the other end and get the win light. And, you know, what a feeling, you know, not only is it, you know, our first win ever, it's Indy, it's the U.S. Nationals. You know, you got the king, you know, next to you, Andrew Hines, you know, that's got more championships, more wins than anybody. You know, we go 679, we go 200 miles an hour again, you know, which was a track record. You know, lead there with the points lead. I mean, Brian Loans, I think, probably said it best, you know, on the telecast when he said magic at Indy, you know, and it was definitely magic for us, you know, and what a great place to get your first win. You know, Chip from Strut Masters was there, you know, cheering us on. So it was, you know, great for him and great for Denso. You know, Denso was the title sponsor of the race, the Denso 200 mile an hour club. You know, I mean, it was just awesome weekend. The only thing that would have made it better is if Suze would have been there. You know, unfortunately, she was at home, but she was with all the kids, and I got to FaceTime with them, you know, at the end of the track right after, you know, we came off the track. So that part was really good, but definitely wish she could have been there, though, for that. She earned it. You know, she's, you know, just as much a part of this team as I am, and that, you know, something that I really wish she could have done, but we brought it home anyway.
You brought it home. I know she's your biggest cheerleader. And folks, if you want to see a great interview, well, it's not great because I did it, but it's Susan and Scotty. Thanks to Brian Prinz. Appreciate that, man, wherever you're at. Look, was able to sit down with them for about an hour when the pandemic first hit, and really good in-depth interview. And she is an interesting character in and of herself. So if you want to see Scotty and Susan together and an interview, go check out the YouTube channel, Monday Morning Racer. It's there. Scotty, so that folks know, though, mentioned in that interview, look, you don't just go back home in some private jet and live in a mansion. You're kind of a blue-collar dude. You know, clue folks in. What do you do? What do you own? What's the 9 to 5, which probably isn't even 9 to 5?
Well, you know, I'm definitely lucky. I mean, I feel like I'm living my dream, but evidently I think when I was dreaming that up, I missed the private airplane part of it. But no, we own Quality Tire here, you know, in town, and we've been doing that for 29 years. And, you know, I go to work every day. If I'm not racing, you know, I'm at the shop working, you know, just lots of hours, you know, got a good crew there. You know, we're just really, really busy trying to keep up on everything. But no, I enjoy working, you know, nobody's lazy around here. Everybody's got, stuff to do. And, every day it's just the same thing, got to get up, go to work so we can go racing, racing, what we love to do. And, we've been fortunate, to get to do it, on the biggest stage. We started out bracket racing many, many years ago and kind of gradually just kept, moving up and moving up. And, we've got some incredible rides that we've been able to, be a part of over the years, but we're definitely right where we want to be. That's for sure.
Well, man, look, I think that's why one reason why that crowd went wild when you won is that, yes, you've been trying for so long. Yes, it was the U.S. Nationals, but you're close to an average guy. Other than 200 miles an hour on a bike, you're ordering tires, changing tires, running a tire shop. I mean, that is American pie, blue collar as it can get. Owning your own business around tires with the automotive culture that we have. Do you sell motorcycle tires? I have to ask that.
I do. I don't sell a lot of street bike tires, but I sell a lot of Mickey Thompson drag slick tires for motorcycles. We're one of the few Mickey Thompson motorcycle dealers in the country.
All right, I was about to say, if the man has a tire shop and doesn't sell what he rides, no. But you do. Good call, man. Good call.
We do.
Speaking of rides, you mentioned that you've been on a lot of rides. I mean, from the Star Racing days, now Matt Smith Racing. One in particular I definitely want to bring up is the Kilocycle, the electric motorcycle. What was it like on electric compared to a tried and true internal combustion engine? Talk to me about that ride and that program.
The Kilocycle is a really unique thing, and I started riding that in 2000. Bill and Eva are the ones that put that together, and they asked me to ride it for them. And for about a decade, we were the quickest, fastest anything electric on the planet. And it's basically a pro stock looking motorcycle that doesn't make hardly any noise at all, but the thing was really famous all over the world for a long time, just because it was at the forefront, of performance for electric stuff. And we got to do a lot of amazing things with it. We went to Iceland, we went to Greenland, or New Zealand, sorry, and all over the United States with it, making exhibition runs, did a lot of TV shows, just a really unique thing. And it's neat to see, the other electric stuff coming now, like Ford's got one, Chevy's got one, there's a lot of it going on now, but back then there wasn't very much of it. So it was a fun ride, got to experience a lot of things. But the interesting thing about the bike was the loudest thing on it was the tire. You could hear the tire all the way down the track, just squealing and screeching. You don't hear that on the gas bikes because they make so much noise, but you could hear the tire all the way down the track on that, which was definitely different.
Right, it's definitely a different sound. Tommy, going to bring you in just here in just a moment. Actually, we'll bring you in right now because I want to talk about that. There is definitely a movement in drag racing getting closer and closer to electric. And, you've seen what Garlitz has done, and there has been that record broken. I can't remember the other guy's name right now. It fails me. But, Scotty, you held the record for a while. You mentioned the Cobra Jet, the electric Cobra Jet. I don't know if that is really a Cobra Jet, but nonetheless, it was electric. And Tasca took to task Petragon. So, Tommy, the world of electricity coming more and more into drag racing. What's your thoughts on it, man? Will we have electric pro mod in the future?
I think anything's possible. I'm very open-minded to it. But again, the cost of changing an industry standard from an internal combustion engine to electric, I think it would be a whole new generation for where we are right now. And although I think they're amazing in what they do, and it's very, very impressive. When Scotty said all you hear is the tire, that's what I remember about him on that bike, about the dragsters. And it's just weird. It's an eerie sound. It's just, it doesn't make sense that it's moving and you hear the tire ripping and it's making power. But for me, power comes with sound. So it's just like a bad movie that you're watching and the lips are we're going, but you don't hear anything. It just doesn't make sense to me, but I have total respect for what they're doing and the technology. And again, in the future, who knows? But as for me, I want to feel it. I want it to be loud, and I want people wearing earmuffs.
Yeah. I mean, look, I am fascinated by the technology. I'm fascinated that it's moving forward. I, in fact, hope it does become some type of class one day. But, man, I want my nitro throttle wax for as long as I live. Please let me have that. You know, and more the better. I mean, the Leverage family, they give you 2. Teams ought to be giving 3. Please give me my nitro throttle wax. And I love a Pro Mod warm-up, and man, just, yeah, gotta have it. Definitely. You know, with me mentioning that, guys, look, tell me, y'all been drag racers for a long time, but you're also fans of drag racing. So, Scotty, before we go back to Tommy for just a few more questions and let him go, why do you love drag racing, Scotty?
You know, I think it started, you know, when I was a kid. You know, all my buddies and I had hot rod cars, you know, and everybody just wanted to, you know, go fast. Everybody wanted to race each other, you know, see who had the best car. And as soon as I got my license, the first thing all of us did was went to the drag strip. You know, none of us knew anything about it, but we just knew we wanted to race, you know, fast. We wanted to race safe. So we went like 10 minutes from my house. There's a drag strip. And we all went out there and started racing our cars. And probably about a year later, I got a motorcycle. And I took the motorcycle out there, and the motorcycle was faster. It was easier. It was cheaper. And so I just kept going with the motorcycle from then on. But yeah, you know, we were fans long before, you know, we were running pro stock motorcycle like we're doing now. You know, just fans of the whole sport, you know, regardless of what class it was. And so I've just been around it for so long, and I just, you know, love the races. You know, I even like going to the races if we're not racing. So definitely been a lifelong passion.
And Scotty, hang on for me. We're going to come back to you with one last question, and we're going to go to Tommy here just in a few moments. So hang on for me, Scotty, and Tommy, hang on for me. One last plug, Drag Racing Edge magazine. Folks, I'll send a free one out to you. Scott, I believe it is, already has got one. Here is the next question. Just a few more minutes for you to answer and get another free magazine. Well, a little TMI last week on the show. Amanda Busick shared with us that she was at this place when Steve Matuszek wrecked in Pro Mod. So where was she? A little TMI. All right, Tommy. Yeah, man, drag racing. I mean, you were going to the lengths of drawing a mustache on. So what of it today? Like, what is something as a fan to this day that you're like, I got to have and I got to see and I got to experience?
Well, I'll tell you what changed. You know, I used to race because I just loved it. And I think any drag racer will admit you can get a very selfish quality about you that I've got to be there. I've got to be here. I'll sacrifice everything you can to be there. And that's kind of like, you know, you go through the ranks, you sacrifice everything to get where you're at. But today, for me, I enjoy the races. If it's a bike, if it's a car, if it's a dragster, I enjoy it. And in every class, Nitro, Pro Mod, Pro Stock bike, even your local bracket racers, there is a lot of time put into these cars, whether it's someone in the garage all by themselves all week working to get that car ready, or it's a team of 50 guys getting a professional team ready to go. And the aspect of camaraderie, companionship, but for me, it's changed to family, because this is a sport where many people don't understand. My children at 15 and twins that are 16 love coming to the races, that we compete together. It's brought us closer. And you know, everything on, we have an auto center at Sir Thomas Performance, and I have that on everything, but I just recently changed it with my personal rig to the April Family Racing, because I love the aspect of us being a family and being there together, whether with the Caruso family, Al Billis and his family. We love to do this and enjoy the people. As we were coming to Virginia, I said, I just can't wait to see the people again. And whether that's the fans or the guys and the girls that we race with, to me, that has the most special meaning. And someone said something to me once. They said, people will never remember how many races you won, what car you drove, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. So as for me, I really want to make sure that people remember that they're important, that I enjoy that they come to the racetrack, and make them all feel special. My competitors, people that we do race, don't race against, that, people are special. And many people, I don't know if you know, I became a chaplain for Races for Christ and Godspeed Ministries, and that has changed the whole aspect of drag racing for me. The races are great. We want to win. We're competitive, and I don't like when I lose, but at the end of the day, we just love being there with our people and supporting each other and being involved in a sport that has done nothing for me but bring great people together.
Awesome deal, man. Well, look, I don't want to keep you too much longer. You're out there in the wet and hanging out, and probably got some people snickering, hey, he's still on the phone. Look at him hanging out at the restaurant. But I got one last question, and you briefly touched on it. Look, faith intertwined with racing and the chaplaincy, what does that look like for you? What is it that a chaplain does, the aim, the goal at a race weekend for racers and fans alike?
It's an awesome responsibility, because when you go to the racetrack, and our team and many other teams, we put it in perspective and say, hey, listen, we're here blessed to do what we love doing, right? And I've made a decision. I want people to know that when I have a sermon or whatever, I'm a jeans and t-shirt guy. I'm not better than anybody else. I struggle with things that everybody struggles with, and I'm real about that. I write a column in Drag Illustrated. It's called The Real Deal, because I'm not afraid to air out my struggles. And what I do is I've used my faith to bring that to people and say, you know what, no matter where you've been or what you've done, people try to hold you there and make you feel like garbage or tell you you're no good. But you know what the Bible says and what God says is that you're a masterpiece. You're amazing. You got one fingerprint, and you need to value yourself and see yourself like God sees you. And at the end of the day, I love people. We are equal. The Black Lives, the police, forget what people are trying to do to separate people. Here's the deal. Treat people the way you want to be treated, and life can be a little bit better. So at the end of the day, I just want to be real. I want people to know that they're cared for, they're loved, and everybody, no matter what position they have on a team, that they are very valuable. If we win a race, I want to make sure all these guys get in front. I will gladly step to the side or stand in the back, because they're the ones that have made it happen, and they deserve that credit. And again, race wins will come and go, and unfortunately, many people won't ever remember that. But for now, I want my legacy to be what I've left people not on the racetrack, if that makes sense. And I'm trying at that, and I struggle, but the struggle is real, and I'm as real as it gets.
Man, look, thank you for that. Well, as the word says, love your neighbor as yourself. If we all did that, I think it'd be a far better world. And thank you for making the world better by giving us methanol fumes in the air and 3-second runs and sharing some love out there. Scott says, good luck in Virginia, Tommy. And man, yeah, good luck to you and the Shakedown Nationals and the Caruso Family Racing gang. Look, your parachute's out on between the slicks, and you're done, man. We're going to let you roll on and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you, Tommy. We appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Well, we're going to pick up Scotty in one moment for one last question before we let him. Well, I can't say pop the parachute. They don't have a parachute on those bikes. I don't know what to say. I'll come up with something. But nonetheless, we do got some winners of the magazine. Another one's going to go out. Matter of fact, I'm going to send 3 out. 3 out. That's a total of 3 tonight. Why? Death Trap Hot Rod says she was at the top end. That's correct. But Dale also mentions the porta potty. Yes, a little TMI last week on Between the Slicks. That's where Amanda Busick was. Wow, a pro mod is wrecking. I don't want to experience that anytime soon. So we will get magazines, Drag Racing Edge magazines, out to Scott, Dale, and Death Trap Hot Rods there on YouTube. Guys, thank you for watching. We're going to bring Scotty back in. Scotty, I have, I think, the most important question that I can ask you on this show. And it is this. Since you have now won a NHRA national event and that is under your belt, when will a nitromethane breathing Harley Davidson be under you and you perform in that class? Don't tell Susan, I know, but when's it going to happen?
I've been kind of quietly talking about that for years, that, I want to try it. It's not something that I would plan on, competing full time in, but I definitely like to put my leg over one and give it a shot. It's just, they're so impressive. They make so much power. They're loud. I mean, they're crazy. It's pretty much an insane ride, but I would love to try it once for sure. I know Suze isn't very excited about that, but you got to try everything pretty much. So it would be good to try it once.
Right. As Susan, your wife, is saying on Facebook right now, that is not happening. Well, look, there might be a test session somewhere someday and nobody knows about it. I mean, you never know. There's sometimes you just don't tell everybody everything. I'm just saying. Well, Scotty, look, it's been great to have you on. I want you to know that I'm a fan of yours, and I was watching I was at every Indy, and I was watching your bike and your performance. And when you went 200 miles per hour, I was like, man, I think the proverbial stars are aligned. And, I did not film any pro stock motorcycle like I usually do, except the final. I was that confident that you were going to pick up that first win. So, man, congratulations once again.
I appreciate that. And that's the first time I've seen that view that you did. That was definitely neat from there. And you did a good job like a pro. You got the clocks at the end, that's the way to do it. One thing I do want to say, it's been such an awesome experience, ever since we won that race. All the people that have reached out to us, I've been getting an endless stream of phone calls at work, cards and letters, people stopping by the shop, Quality Tire, just to come in and tell me how, excited they were and proud of us. And, it's just neat to live in a small town, in Central Point and Medford like we do. And, everybody knows everybody, and just the amount of, support that we have and everybody that follows, it's just incredible. And it's really, really neat to see that, it means a lot to a lot of other people, not just us. So been really, really happy with all that.
Yes, sir. I think it means so much. And, honestly, man, I think it's going to mean so much more years to come. I know it's fresh right now. And what I mean, not even just to you, I know it's going to mean more to you later on, but I think it's going to mean more to fans of motorsports as a human story. You've been trying for a long time to get this done, and you've persevered and you've kept working at it, and you got it. And that's encouragement to everybody, because we're all in those situations one way or the other. Maybe not for NHRA Wally, but, it might be working something out in a marriage. It might be working something out at a local bracket track. It might be working something out in the workplace. And you never know how your story might encourage someone. So it's a cool deal, man. It's a cool deal.
Well, we've definitely been persistent, and, it's just kind of a good example that, anything could happen. All you got to do is work at it, keep trying, don't give up. And it could happen just like it did for us.
All right. Well, Scotty, thank you for being on Between the Slicks. Well, no parachute for y'all, but I guess you're on the binders and rolling off the track, and we will catch up with you later. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Folks, thank you for watching Between the Slicks with myself, the Monday Morning Racer. I am truly humbled that anyone would watch me and enjoy what I'm producing and getting out for all of you as drag racing fans. Again, thank you for watching. Look, keep an eye on the Shakedown Nationals. Look out for my post on Monday Morning Racer on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, as I plan on heading out to Push Rods Rumble 2 there at Wilkesboro Dragway and getting footage, getting photos, and yakking up with the drivers. Folks, once again, thank you for watching. Oh, a little tidbit. Plan on having next week possibly Chip Lofton, Jack Beckman, and Lou Santiago on Between the Slicks. I think it's going to be a stellar show. Hopefully that can all get worked out. Thank you, everyone, for the great shows. I appreciate it. Thank you. You're great for watching and supporting. It's amazing. Until next time, God bless and keep the pedal to the metal.